guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alex and today we are going to be talking all things organization. So obviously it is a really busy time of year for a lot of people. I myself, being a student, can tell you firsthand, like I'm in midterms, it's really crazy. And even if you're not a student, like with work and stuff, this is just a very like overwhelming time of year from like January to March. Like it just seems to be like kind of crazy for everybody, and they go like the months go by so quickly. In today's video, I'm going to be offering a little bit of wisdom on my part on any tips and tricks that help me get organized, whether it's goal setting, getting into a routine, keeping motivated, and all things kind of in that realm. Obviously these tricks just like work for me, but if they do work for you, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you have any other tips or tricks, or if some of these work for you, comment down below so that everyone else can see what works and what doesn't for people. And subscribe down below for any future videos that I will be putting out. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and now let's just get right into it. So before getting organized, I think it's really important, just almost like as a pre-step, whether you're overwhelmed or not, I think it's really worthwhile to clean your space. So for me, this is a must. Cleaning your space really just, I think it induces even more productivity. It's kind of like a clean space, clean mind. You can never really go wrong with this. So the next step is that normally when I'm at this stage, I have a lot of thoughts and I get really overwhelmed about everything that might be happening. And the best way to deal with this in my experience is just to write a list, whether it's a to-do list or just like anything that you're thinking, or maybe your feelings. Just writing things down is a really therapeutic way of just having everything that's kind of very abstract, concrete on the paper. This also helps because then anything that you were stressed about is now more tangible, so you can actually go about and see everything physically in front of you, and then you can start to actually like break things down. So with this, I also would, like, a little tip that I would just recommend is you can always like develop methods. So for example, like since I was in high school, which was like, oh my god, middle school, like since I was like, I don't know, like 13, I started using different color codings for like they signify different things in my homework and in like my notes and all of that kind of stuff. So for example, I would use highlighters. Like if I highlighted something in pink, when I was going back over my notes, I knew that that was a definition. If I highlighted things in orange, I knew that that was some type of like list of like like titles or some type of like units of sorts. So having those little like cues can be really helpful when you like develop them like for yourself. Another thing that I do is that like I have also like developed little like almost like a legend of signs. So for example, if a prof or like a teacher is like, oh, like textbook page 7, I always draw like a little like sign that reminds me like this is the textbook, instead of having to like write the whole word like textbook out. Those things can really speed things up. And again, it's like little cues for you to be able to know what you have to do without being so like, I don't know, like extra about it. I also think it's very worthwhile, and this may not apply to everybody, but if you can afford to do so, I think it's very helpful to buy like the materials that you, or like the tools that you need that will motivate you. For example, with me, I obviously, like everyone has just like the baseline highlighters, but like to help motivate me when I'm like reading through my textbooks or like highlighting my notes, I actually went to Amazon and I bought these really cute like pastel highlighters, which I think are like adorable. I also, like when I was writing like cue cards and stuff for some of like my science exams and whatnot, I bought these, like, they're not like gel pens, but like they're like kind of like felt tip. That way I could, again, kind of do some color coding, but also just like have a nice palette of notes to go back to motivate me to like keep learning instead of just like black and blue ink. So on the topic of lists, I also just wanted to show you guys mine. Keep in mind, like I'm filming this at the end of the week, so it is like all crossed off because I always like make my new list on like Saturday or Sunday for the week coming. So just have that in mind. So this is like a good example of like what my lists usually look like, and it looks like super messy, I know. But normally, like I'm taking 5 courses at school right now, so I have like each of them in like a little square box, and then I like list all of the things that I need to do underneath. And then if there's like any like personal things that I need to do, like, oh, like remember to message this person happy birthday, or remember to send that in the mail, or pick this up, or call so-and-so, like I always always just write it in like red so that it stands out a little bit more to me. On the topic of materials, I also find it really helpful. I'm personally a very visual learner. So what I'll do is I'll actually like color code all of my subjects so that like I know like, okay, like yellow is this, blue is that, etc., etc. In fact, I actually, just to give you like a little bit of sneak peek here. So for example, like this is one of my subjects. I have like a yellow notepad and like a yellow folder. I know some people do binders. I did binders forever, and then I got to university and I just felt like carrying around binders was so heavy for me. Like on campus, I was just like literally breaking my back if I had like more than like 3 classes a day with textbooks and everything. It was just like too much. With this, what I'll usually do is like if I need to like photocopy things in the textbook, then I'll like scan and photocopy them and then like just put them in this folder, along with any other like loose leaf papers that like get handed out. Obviously with COVID, I'm printing everything, I'm not going to class. And then like my notepad, I write everything out. I know that some people are like avid typers and techie people, but writing has just like always worked better for me in terms of like retaining information and studying better later. So, I mean, of course, do whatever your method is, but this works for me. So again, I just have like these 3 subjects that I'm just showing you guys now. Pink one, and then of course this orange one. So just a really easy way of tracing back like where your subjects are and like where everything is kept. And I don't know, I think it's a very like efficient way of organizing all of your notes. Obviously you could also do the same thing for work, whether it is like, if you work with like some type of company that deals with different clients, you could have like a different folder for each client. Obviously, if you have so many clients, you might not be able to have a zillion different colors of folders, but maybe you have like one color folder for like one day of the week. Maybe you have one, oh my God, is that an alarm? Sorry, my alarm is like going off, but I'm also like, I have an alarm. Okay, it's done. Yeah, so basically just like managing and organizing according to colors or like physical features. To me, those cues really help me just like, if I stay as proactively organized as possible beforehand, then when like the stress comes, then I've done everything in my power to be able to like calm me down and like revert back the stress so that like I don't get as overwhelmed in those times. So the next thing that I would say is like, let's say you've made a to-do list at this point. Once you've made the to-do list, you want to set deadlines. So you want to make some type of schedule, whether it means that like you have such and such report on this day or this presentation or this meeting or whatever it is, whether you meet that actual deadline or you want to be like a little bit in advance, just look at what you have to do on your to-do list and prioritize. So obviously if you have something due in a month and you have something due next week, maybe do the thing that's due next week first. But it's also just a balancing act, right? Because if you have something due next week that's going to take you like 2 seconds to do, then you have something due in 2 weeks that's going to take you like quite some time to do, maybe that alarm is back. Oh my God. Maybe you have to just balance your time in a different way. So maybe that means doing the 2-week project for a little bit and then like going back to like the 5-minute project, but just being very perceptive of your priorities and knowing what is due and when. What is due and when? I can't talk. I think it's also worth mentioning that like when you set deadlines, like when you have a goal in mind, whether it's like writing that essay or whether it has, oh my God, whether it means that you're like writing that essay or if it just means that you're doing something that has nothing to do with like workplace or school or anything, like maybe you want to start working out 4 times a week, maybe you want to start a new hobby, whatever it is, if you set deadlines for yourself, you're making yourself accountable to reach those deadlines, and in turn you're kind of like reaching your goal very slowly but like progressively. So setting deadlines is a really easy way to hold yourself accountable, make you responsible for what you want to do, and by meeting those deadlines you can prove to yourself that eventually you will get to like the finish line of whatever your goal is. It also puts me at ease when I set deadlines because sometimes I get really overwhelmed at like there's like a huge thing that I have to do, and if I set like baby deadlines, they kind of equate to like the large like mama deadline. So it actually puts me at ease because then again, I'm breaking things down. It's not going to be as difficult for me to kind of visualize. It's all very tangibly like set out and like very progressive. So with this, I know that like, again, like we get into these times where like we're really busy, we get stressed, but I cannot emphasize this enough. It is so important to take breaks. It is so, so important. You need to give yourself time to rest, to recharge, to let go, to see friends, like call someone, be with family, like whatever it is that you need to do to reset. It's so important because you can work to the bone, but like if you don't give yourself time, you will not be productive going forward. Think about it this way, like when you are doing like a workout or something, you can only work out so much because after a certain point, that muscle that you're working isn't going to gain much more than what you've given it like for that day. So you have to give your body like rest days, and you need to give your body time in between so that it can recover and then come back stronger so that you can actually make strides in the future. And personally, like by giving myself breaks, I actually think it motivates me more, because if I set time in my schedule like on like a day-to-day basis, and I set time like going on social media and then like getting something to eat and like going for a walk, like if I set those timelines to like take time for myself, like not only does it give me time to recharge, but it also motivates me to go back to work when that time is up. For example, if you're a TikTok addict like me, sometimes if I don't set the time aside to take a break, to eat, to go on TikTok, I will just waste so much time on TikTok. And it's like, just set that time aside. Like you already know it's gonna happen. Another pro tip, turn your phone off when you're working and you don't need it. Obviously, if you work a certain job, like you're gonna need your phone. Anything that you don't need your phone, or you don't need to be talking to people and you're doing something for yourself, just like put it away, turn it off. Like I know that like the do not disturb function is somewhat helpful, but with me, like if I'm wondering about something, I will just go straight to the source. I don't know, Instagram, or like I'll just go to the culprit. So it's kind of dangerous when your phone is on, as opposed to like turning your phone off, and once it's off and you go to check it and you remember it's off, it just makes you think, you know what, I caved and I'm gonna go back to work. So set those break times. If you can, turn off your phone, recharge when you need to, and listen to your body. Like never, like if you need to rest, like take a 10-minute nap if your body allows for you to do that. Like that type of stuff is so important, because your body can only do so much, and like we're responsible for taking care of ourselves. And if you don't take care of yourself enough, you're only gonna take like one step forward, 2 steps back. So just like be very conscious of your like senses and listen to your body. Among like all of this goal setting and like getting organized and trying to stay motivated, I also think it's really important to just kind of touch upon manifesting. So obviously like this is like a really big thing that seems kind of like joked about on like social media and stuff. The definition of manifesting is to display or show a quality or feeling by one's acts or appearance, to become apparent through the appearance of symptoms. All to say that like it basically encompasses that like if you want to do something, you have the power to do it, basically. But I'm telling you, like this, it works. Like it works. Like let me tell you from experience, like I have manifested certain things in my life that like I kind of doubted my like the method of like how you bring things into your life and how you're in control of your own future. I also really believe in the law of attraction, which I think is like manifesting like defined, which literally states that like you will attract what you radiate. So if you radiate like good things and like you're trying your best and you're like really looking out for yourself and self-care, and all of that energy and all of those good things that you're putting out into the world will come back to you. Because if you're putting out good energy and you are doing good in your community, if you are seeking change where it needs to be, like if you are doing good things, those changes will happen and they will come back to you. Think about when someone is frustrated or someone is angry and they walk in the room. They have that hostility that they impose on everybody else, because nobody wants like someone who's grumpy to be around, because then it makes them grumpy and it just spreads. So in turn, by making other people grumpy, the original grumpy person gets more grumpy because they don't want to be grumpy, and now like everybody's grumpy. Did that make sense? This is kind of all over the place, but the law of attraction, like you you will get back what you give. Manifesting. If you ask for something and you work hard at it and you affirm things for yourself, good things will come back to you as well. Like what I do for manifesting is I actually like write in a little journal. I use the 5-minute journal. I know it's very popular. I'll just put a picture of it up here. Journaling is a really great way of kind of like instilling things that matter to you, your goals, what you're trying to get at. Like studies have shown that like when you write something, it's like maximum retention, it will sit with you. So writing things out for goals or for manifesting things is very important. Obviously, if you're writing something out, it will sit with you more, like you'll think about it more, and in turn you'll manifest it more. Another really important thing that you could do for manifesting and for motivating yourself and keeping happy is talking to yourself. And I know that sounds really silly, but just like little affirmations like, you look good today, you are happy, you are strong, like those kinds of things go a really long way. You don't even need to be like upset to be doing those things. You don't need to be like down upon yourself, like just doing those things daily. Like sounds really stupid, but like those affirmations really go a long way. Me personally, like when I have goals that I want to like reach, I actually like tell them to myself. Like I tell myself like, I will do this or like I will do that, because if you act like that, like odds are that like you will start to physically mimic the symptoms that will enable you to achieve whatever you are trying to get at. It kind of reminds me of the saying by Buddha, what you think you become. And if you enable yourself to do things, like you're capable of literally anything. It's just about what you set your mind to and what your priorities are and what type of energy you want to like bring into the world. Because let's be honest, like we all want to be around good, optimistic, happy, positive, like great people. Like we don't want any bad people in the world. Like they can go away. If you want to be good, like do good and be good in this world, because you won't get anything but great things back. So those are kind of like my little tips and tricks for goal setting, manifesting, getting organized. I know this video was kind of all over the place, but I do think that like I could probably go on about these things forever, but these are some really important concepts that have changed my life. Like when I started learning about how I learn more efficiently and like what type of learner I am, and just putting these things into question for yourself can really change how you learn, how you work best. And I think that those are really important qualities for you to just like question yourself about. It can just be very rewarding when you kind of discover these things for yourself, because then you have so much to gain in any area of your life. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any other methods that may help us, like please comment them down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked some of the tips that were mentioned. And again, subscribe for some future videos down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.